Hello everyone. I really apologize for starting the session a little bit delay. I'm having a little bit technical issue, so please bear with me. Just give me 1 minute and I'm starting with the session. And a very warm welcome to all of you. Just please allow me a 1 minute. So, hi everyone, my name is Pratibha and I'm your moderator today. So, if at any point you have any question or you want to ask you want to connect with our speaker, or if you want to know more regarding the GSDC initiative, please feel free to use the chat box and I'll be keeping an eye on it. So, on behalf of the Global Skill Development Council, I'm truly delighted to welcome you all into the GSTC Studio AI Implementation Series, a hands on webinar series designed especially for managers and professionals like you, so that you can not just learn, but you can also apply what you take away. And one of the things which make this webinar so interesting, this amazing panel of speaker we have lined up for you. Some of them have already delivered a very incredible and insightful sessions, and others are all set to bring in more powerful ideas. And here's a little spoiler. So we are changing our theme a little bit regarding to the because the new year is coming. So we are changing our theme a little bit regarding according to the new year, and we are also adding more speaker into our panel to make your learning journey even more engaging and dynamic. So you want to know how you can grab a spot? Well, hang tight till today's end of the session and I'll be telling you the details then. So for those who have joined with us for the very first time, let me give you a quick introduction who we are. Global Skill Development Council is a globally recognized certification body. We are authorized by 100 plus training providers. We are accredited by ABICB, and also we have 500 plus subject matter experts who contribute to our program. Till yet, we have a 250,000 professionals certified with us. We are associated with 1,000 plus multinational companies and 50 plus universities worldwide. So I wanted to make a quick announcement that we have just launched a very unique platform called GSDC AI Studio, Lifelong Learning Initiative. So the GSDC AI Studio, you will be getting the 100 plus live monthly session with global expert, 4 daily sessions, 45 minutes live expert lead session for hands-on learning. Sessions from global expert, you can learn directly from our AI leaders around the world. Real-time practice, you can apply concept immediately and get your question answered. And certification ready, you will get the training aligned for job industry standard for job ready skills. So do you want to know how you can grab the how you can get the benefit of the GSDC AI tool? Well, let me tell you. So there are 3 ways for this. First, you have a free 14-day access in which you can get a 80 plus live session per month and access to full GSDC studio. Second, you have a GSDC lifelong membership in which you will be upgrading to Pro and you will be getting the lifetime access, 80 plus live session per month, access to full GSDC studio, free GSDC membership, access to physical event and LinkedIn profile improver. Last but not the least, we have GSDC certification plus lifetime membership. So participate now. This offer is for a very limited time of period. So make sure you're taking the advantage of it because it is starting from $100. And you will be getting the lifetime access of GSDC certification, all benefits of lifetime membership, personalized coaching, capstone projects plus AI tool, GSDC Copilot, and competency assessment tool. So currently we are covering 100 plus certification in our portfolio, which include the learning and development, HR, generative AI, agentic AI, emerging technology, ISO lead auditor and implementer, project management and PMO, Agile DevOps and SRE, cybersecurity, digital certified with the GSTC, you just don't walk away with a certificate. You also become a member of our community, and it comes with the GSTC membership benefits, which include the lifelong membership, certification upgrade, workshop bootcamps, learning club access, and also the full benefit of GSTC AI Studio and many more. So with that, it's time to welcome our today's speaker. So today we have Dr. Utsav with us. Dr. Utsav, is a consultant pathologist and general physician, has nearly a decade of clinical and diagnosis experience. He completed MBBS in 2011 from North Bengal Medical College, MD Pathology in 2018 from Medical College Kolkata, and CEBTM 2018 from PHFI. His career spans role at theme diagnosis, health vectors, iMerit Technology, and Udemy AI. With the PDCC in Digital Pathology, Metropolis, and Pathology Association, Kolkata Association of Practicing Pathologists, CAPP, and Indian College of Artificial Intelligence in Medical, ICAMI, he has delivered multiple lectures in AI and has multiple peer reviewed publications. He is also certified in AI in medicine, and he actively bridged clinical practice with AI and digital pathology. But before handing over the virtual mic, just a quick reminder, if you have any query during the session, if you want to connect with Dr. Utso, or if you want to know regarding the GSDC AI initiative, please feel free to use the chat box. Once again, don't be shy. Drop your reactions, emojis, or quick and absorbing this insight from the amazing session. All we have an announcement to make at the end of today's session, which is worth $400 gift certification vouchers. So well, hang tight till end of today's session. And with that, it's time to welcome Dr. Utsav. Dr. Utsav, thank you so much for coming on our platform. We are very honored to have you as our speaker. The stage is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you for a nice introduction. I will just start sharing my screen. Okay. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So yeah. Just a second. Yeah. Good evening, all. So I'm Dr. Utsav Gorai. I'm consultant pathologist and an AI trainer. So today our topic is navigating DPDP as the new digital personal data protection that has been launched in November this month only. So it was building since 2023, and now just a second. Yeah. Okay. So let me begin with a simple but powerful question. So if your hospital or app suffered a data breach today, would your patients still trust you tomorrow? So we live in a world where AI can diagnose cancer, AI can reports are generated at machine speed, and where every heartbeat, every prescription, every lab value is stored somewhere in the cloud. But here is the irony. So, if the data is mishandled, a single breach can destroy years of trust. That's why the DPDP isn't just a law, it's a new pulse in the Indian healthcare. It's the rhythm that will decide whether innovation thrives or it collapses under the weight of mistrust. So today in the next 20-30 minutes, I will try to show you how the DPDP is not the villain in the AI story. It's the security system that allows the future of healthcare and AI to coexist for everybody. So this slide actually captures the essence of the shift. So India is defining a balance between innovation and trust. Earlier, the rules were vague. We collected data without clear permission. We used to use the AI pipelines without well-defined boundaries. So there was no rules as for much rules about consent. So DPTP now finally gives us a national standard, a rule book that protects the patients but also gives innovators the confidence to scale responsibly. So the question is no longer, is AI allowed? The question is, have you earned the patient's trust to have their data? And have you have that transparency to have their data? So every time a new regulation comes up, our fast reaction is, will this block innovation? So, but look, at the bridge in the picture. So DPTP is not a wall; it's a bridge between from mistrust to a future of trust. So when trust becomes a feature of your product or practice, adoption will follow naturally. So what this shift actually means? So DPDP brings our three major upgrades. From ambiguity, we have accountability. Now you have a clear line separating what is allowed and what is not. We have now moving from an implied consent to explicit consent. So initially we used to assume the patient has agreed. That is no longer valid. The consent now must be purpose specific and unambiguous. And from liability to blueprint. Now this is the first time that India has created a technical and legal framework like the GDPR and for India only aligned to the ongoing digital or AI revolution that is happening. So I would say there are five pillars of DPDP: the consent, the obligations of the data fiduciary, the breach management, rights of the data principal, and enforcement, and some special categories. So even if one pillar is weak, the entire structure can collapse. Every rule in this act connects back to one or more of these pillars in some way. So coming to the first pillar, that is the consent. So which must be specific, clear and revocable. So this is one of the most important slides of the whole entire presentation. The consent must be clear and simple language, understandable and separate from other information. It should be itemized and purpose driven. So there should be specifically said what is required and why the data is being asked by any vendor. And it should be easy to withdraw. Like we are giving a consent, the withdrawal of consent should be as simple as we are giving the consent. So if you see the illustration before, you still now we see this type of consents, a 4-page long consent form which nobody wants to read, and we ultimately have to give a consent. After DPDP, this will become more itemized. So specific reasons for why the data is asked, what type of data is asked, has to be demonstrated to the end user. So this will transform the patient engagement and also clean up the data pipelines for more AI training. So what are the key roles in healthcare data system now? So there are principals, the fiduciaries and the data processors. So the patient is the data principal or the true owner of the data. And the data fiduciaries are the hospitals, the labs or health tech platforms who actually decides why and how they are using your data. And ultimately there is the data processors. They are the technical vendors. They could be AI partners, they could be the IT vendor, they could be AI model provider or HMS or LIS providers. So understanding these crucial roles becomes important because ultimately the legal responsibility lies with the data fiduciaries. So coming to the fiduciaries obligations, that is the pillar 2. As a fiduciary, you must ensure that reasonable security safeguards has been implemented as per the rule 6. We will come to it in more details in the next slide. You have to also ensure that the purpose limitation has been done as per rule 8. What is that? That to erase personal data once the specific purpose is served unless the retention is required by any other law. Okay, and accuracy and completeness of the data. So we have to ensure that the patient data is correct, complete and consistent. So this applies to both small clinics or any large giant hospital chain. So DPDP ultimately levels the playing field and trust becomes more standardized. Coming to the rule 6, that is your digital Fort Knox. What are the mandatory rules that a data fiduciary has to implement? So the data fiduciary must implement reasonable security safeguards to protect personal data in his possession and prevent any breaches. This duty extends to any data processors that the data fiduciary has acting on his behalf. So on we can see this data protection could be through encryption, masking, or obfuscation. There should be access of controls like measures to control and limit who can access the patient data and to how much is visible of the patient data to everybody. There should be monitoring and audit trails like logs to be maintained to enable detection, investigation of any unauthorized access. And there should be a resilient backup plan in case there is a breach or data loss. Also, the contractual obligations with the vendors has to be clearly defined. Coming to the pillar number 3, that is the breach notification, which is a very vital rule. So anywhere, anytime there is a breach is detected, it should be without delay notified to the data protection board on and to the every affected patient, and within 72 hours a detailed report should also be sent to the data protection board. So and all every patient has to be notified about the nature of the breach, what kind of data has been lost and the likely consequences, and what mitigation step or what protection they can take from their end. So this prevents the culture of silent breaches where organizations hide the incidents, and maybe a few months later, in after 1 month, we get to know through a news that this company had a data breach. So this transparency is now mandatory, not anymore an option. So coming to the pillar 4, that is the new rights of the patients. This is where DPDP becomes truly patient centric. The patients or the data principals now have the right to access summary of the process data. They have right to correct or in any inaccurate data, and they have the option to choose to erase their personal data subject to the legal hold of 1 year that will come in later. And they also have a right to nominate any other person in case of a death or maybe disability or maybe illness. And they also have access to grievance redressal. In that case, the data fiduciary are bound to respond within a span of 90 days. So coming to the special categories of the pillar 5 and the enforcement. So the children's data, as per the Rule 10, is heavily protected, and processing requires verifiable parental consent. We will come to each of them in details. And coming to the significant data fiduciaries. So, who are the significant fiduciaries? Maybe a major health tech platform, a global national chain of hospitals. So, if they are designated as a significant data fiduciaries by the government, then they have to undergo more scrutiny, and they have a higher obligations like having a periodic audits, having data protection officers, and etc. So and ultimately the data protection board has the maximum power for enforcement or any imposing of any penalties. Coming to the rule number 10, that is the consent for uh, under 18. So for anyone under 18, a verifiable parental consent, be it through a voluntary ID, a DG locker, or the patient has a account in that app, the parent has already an account in that app, that is mandatory. So previously there was no such regulation for young patients. Now there is a strict regulation under Rule 10 for young patients or young kids. And for healthcare, there is a carefully built exemption. So in the fourth schedule, that emergency medical services are not delayed due to paperwork. But if you are developing, say, a wellness app, a behavioral tracker, or AI based monitoring for kids, then you face a much more strict scrutiny as per the new DPDP rules. So as I was saying, who are the significant data fiduciaries? The government will decide on based on the volume of data they are handling. Those who are handling highly sensitive medical data, which is mostly in the healthcare, those who operate nationwide, and they have built a widely used AI diagnostics tools. So most likely the large hospital chains, EMR platforms, and very well known AI diagnostic companies will be an SDFs. So if you are SDF, you are designated an SDF, you have to have few additional obligations. So you have to appoint a data protection officer based in India only. You have to conduct annual data protection impact assessment, and you have to have a conduct annual independent data audits. And also you have to verify the algorithmic fairness so that the algorithms don't pose any harm to the patients. Coming to another important thing, that is the 1 year mandate. This is a new baseline for data retention. So the core rule is data fiduciary must retain the personal data, associated traffic data or logins by the end user for minimum 1 year from the date of processing. So for example, a person has used your telehealth app and for just for one time, and after that they have deleted their account entirely, but still you are required to maintain that log for minimum period of 1 year, and that has to be also clearly displayed or said to the patient or end user that we will be keeping your data for 1 year as per the government rules. So for startups, you have to review your data cycle, archival policies, and automated deletion scripts must be reconfigured to comply with this 1 year minimum data retention rules. So, but this patient rights to erasure brings us to a new gray area. So this is a fascinating conflict. The patients have a right to erasure, but say their data has been used to train a AI model. Their characteristics or the influence that the data has on that AI model is very difficult to remove, even if the data is removed afterwards. But the influence the person has on his models, on the model's weight, it is really impossible to remove without again retraining the whole model. So that is a gray area still, and maybe it will be clarified in later times. But also we have to mention to the patients that the minimum 1 year requirement retention is there for their data. That must be communicated clearly. So now that we understand kind of the theory, how do we move from the information to action? So first we have to understand the implementation clock. So the DPDP has a phased implementation. The phase 1 has already started. It is establishment of the data protection board and its governance, that is the rules 1 to 17 to 21. Now at 1 year, the rule number 4 will come in force, that is the consent manager. And rule number and our phase 3 will be effective in 18 months. That is the most of the core obligations will go live at 18 months from the date of publication. So that will include the new consent notice, the data security safeguards, the breach notification protocols, the data retention and erasure rules, the rules for children's data and patient rights. Every major rules will go live in this 18 months periods after this 18-month period is over. So this 18 months period is a critical. Your compliance program, your infrastructure should be ready and operational by then. So we encountered a new word, operational managers. So let consent managers. Let's see what is consent manager. So a consent manager is a registered intermediary between a data principal and a data fiduciary. So they must be, uh, you know, working in India only, registered in Indian company. They should be financially sound. They should have a net worth of more than 2 crores. They should have a certified interoperable platforms, and they should have a trustworthy leadership. That is a good reputation. So what are their responsibilities? They will empower the data principals actually. So it will enable the users to easily give, manage, review and withdraw consent of their personal data. They should act in a fiduciary capacity and maintain secure records. So these records is actually not the patient data. This is actually the records of the consent activities. So accessible records of all consent activities for at least 7 years as mandated by the DPDP Act. And also they should ensure transparency and clear information that there is no shareholders of the consent managers in the data fiduciary. So there should not be any conflict of interest with the data fiduciary and the consent manager. So what are your immediate actions? So there are mainly 4 actions that we can do, like review your patient consent, audit the patient intake and procedure consent forms immediately, ensure they are clear, specific and standalone, not at the end attached to a big document and not like that. That era is coming to an end. So scrutinize your vendor contract, have a conversation with your EMR, lab software providers, ask for their compliance roadmap to DPDP also. Train your staff, your front desk, your nurses, technologists, all are your frontline data handling. So conduct training for the new privacy rules and also secure the endpoints. So the endpoints should be, the workstation should be password protected, mostly are. So and software is updated and physical access to servers and patient file is controlled. So we can do this maybe in a phase wise. So initially in the first 90 days, maybe we can understand what are the deadlines, form a DPDP task force, bringing together legal, IT operations, AI data science leadership, everybody, and so that they can plan the roadmap for each company. And you have to data map. So identify all personal health data, where it resides, the life cycle of each data, and who has access to which part of the health data. And also we have to, sorry, just a second. We have to build patient rights workflow. through technical so that it handles the patient requests properly. So once this is done, then you can be more go to the implementation part. So where we review the contracts, maybe we can run a simulation like a 72 hours simulation so that you simulate for a data breach and see whether you can report to the data board within a 72 hours. So now we will try to apply this whole discussion into few real world scenarios. So scenario one, you want to train a diagnostic algorithm through historical patient data. So the challenge now is you can obtain the consent maybe years ago or months ago for treatment, but that consent is no longer valid or it is insufficient for AI training. The data you have obtained through billing cannot be used for AI research without a new consent. There is a exemption of research as per the rule 16 and second schedule, but one may ask, can you use the research exemption as a blank check? The answer is it's not so easy, so it's complicated. So what is the research exemption? So as per the rule 16 and second schedule, so the research exemption is to apply, it should be the research must be lawful and the data must be protected by reasonable security, and most crucially, it is limited to such data that is necessary. So we cannot say that I will need all the patient data, I need access to all the patient data. Only that data that is necessary for training an AI model or training research purpose, that is only necessary, has to be that only that limited to that. So, but ultimately the line between pure research and a commercial product development or an AI tool development is currently undefined. So it may need more careful legal interpretation in the coming days. It is not an automatic exemption that I will use the research exemption and do anything with our patient data. So scenario 2, like you are using or planning to use a live AI tool for diagnosis based on patient's data. So as per now, the real rule number 3, explicit notice, your consent form must say explicitly that the AI system will be processing their health records and used for diagnosis. So that has to be clearly mentioned to the end users. And also there should be a contractual clarity with your vendor or AI provider defining the security obligations and who is liable if an AI model makes a mistake, say whether the hospital, that is the data fiduciary, or the AI vendor, that is the processor. So that clarity should be there with the data fiduciary also. Coming back to our rule number 10, that is the data for minors again. So if for example, you are trying to build an AI powered pediatric app for any child or anyone under 18, the law puts a gate in front of the data and the gate is verifiable patient consent, parental consent. So this means before any pediatric app can collect symptoms, monitor behavior, analyze growth charts or provide recommendation, you must prove that a real parent or guardian has authorized the use of the child's data. So there is a special nuance that I mentioned before also, the healthcare exemption. So if a doctor or a clinical establishment is using the data strictly for the patient's child's medical protection, then the DPTP does not slow down the treatment. This is crucial. So imagine an emergency where a pediatrician needs immediate access to the information. The law supports the clinician fully. So the message here is simple. For health tech apps targeting minors, the burden of proof is high. For clinicians, the workflow remains as smooth as it was before. So this distinction protects the children without hindering their medical care. A similar example is also not for healthcare, for schools maybe. So the schools can also use the child, have access to the child's data, but that only limits to their safety or maybe transport of children from their school to the house of the parents. They don't have access to the health data. Similarly, it's vice versa for the health. So only the health data will be exemption for the clinicians. They won't have the access to the tracking for the children. So we are talking about verifiable parental consent for a long time. So what does it mean actually for our app? So the DPDP is clear. You cannot just simply show a checkbox that says I'm 18 plus and I'm the parent and that era is over. So the law now provides multiple pathways to verify. So it could be a verify through an existing account the parent has in your app, or through upload of ID, maybe a PAN card, Aadhaar card, whatever is valid ID, or through a use of a virtual token, or connecting through a digital DigiLocker. So, and this action point on the founders or the technical team is you must design an age verification and consent flow that is intuitive, secure, and cannot be bypassed. So, ultimately, the takeaway is powerful, the consent is reimagined, becomes a product and the engineering challenge, not just a legal requirement anymore. So, this is where the law, engineering, ethics, and user experience all meet. So navigating DPDP is a journey. It is required. It will require effort. It will require investment and a shift in our own culture, how we do our daily activities. But remember, compliance is not the goal. The goal is trust, because it is our collective responsibility to use this framework to build a trusted, high-powered healthcare that India truly deserves. Thank you for your patient hearing, and we are at the end of line, and I think we are open for questions also.
Thank you so much, Dr. Utsu, for this amazing and insightful sessions. I'm sure our participants have learned a lot. So, participant, the floor is officially open for question and answer. If you have any question, please feel free to use the chat box. Meanwhile, Dr. Utsu, we do have some questions from our participant from the YouTube and LinkedIn. So, just let me share it. One second. So, the first question we have that according to you, what do you think for just one sec. Yeah. So, where, according to you, think what do you think that how does DPDP change the way healthcare organizations collect patient consultant for AI based tool?
So yeah, so the DPDP actually says that the data, you can take the data, that is no problem, but you have to have a disclaimer, a clear disclaimer at the beginning, as per the rule 3, that your data will be used for some development of an AI tool or development or training of the AI model. So that has to be clearly defined to the end user when they are starting giving the consent. So it's not like they come for a treatment for some disease and we are capturing the data and then using it in the back door for some training of our model, and we develop a model after few months and say we have developed a model, but the patients actually don't know their data was used for training their model. So whatever you do it lawfully, you do it justly, but do it transparently.
Thank you so much for this insightful answer. So, one of our participants, Satyanarayan Murthy, wants to know DPDP 2023 implementation monitored by Indian Medical Council Board. So, who's the governance body?
The governance body is actually being formed, I think so. uh, Following the DPDP. So I think he has a follow-up question also. So it is being formed, actually, it is not been formed. So the rule 17 to 21 actually defines the who will be part of that body. It's mostly a four member or six member team, and mostly headed by MIT, Ministry of Technology, Telecom, I think. So MIT will be leading the team, and they will be a four-member or six-member team, and it will be operated like from a digital office also, so that there is no physical need. So the complaints can go digitally, and everything is managed much more in a streamlined manner.
Thank you so much for this amazing answer. So, next question we have how can small or mid sized clinics ensure proper data privacy without high costing technologies?
I think already we have even a small lab or a small setup already has some their consent forms. So what only they have to do is to make that consent forms much more item specific. So if a person has come for a blood test, that consent form has to mention that you have come for a blood test of this and this. If somebody has come for a treatment for a gallbladder surgery, that consent form should mention that you have come for a that person should give a consent for gallbladder surgery only. It should not be a 4 page thing including everything, and then the person cannot read the whole thing and ultimately it puts a tick, okay, I have given the consent, I am ready for the procedure. So we have a consent form everywhere available. We just need to streamline it, itemize it, so that the person knows what kind of data is being asked for and what kind of consent is being asked for. It is not will be a not a very big deal to implement, but yeah, it will take some effort from the IT team, from the administration to think through the whole process and make it more acceptable for the end user and comply with the rules as per the DPDP.
Thank you so much for those detailed and thoughtful answers. And I do agree that we should have the consent form for everything. That will make it a more transparency between the patients and the hospital. So thank you so much for that. So next question we have, what do you think, what are the most common challenges hospital face while implementing the DPD compliance?
I think it will be the data overload could be a thing, because we have to these days too many data, digitization is going on, so we have to segregate which data is being taken for which purpose. And also, as we are saying, there is a data eraser timeline, so we cannot delete any data for before 1 year. So that is the minimum. For 1 year we have to keep the data, even if the person has used it 1 year before and only for one time. So keeping the data is also a area that it is a storage area for cloud or whatever server they're using. And even it should be so simply done that if the patient asks for a eraser, the eraser should be also be possible to do after that 1 year period is over. So these kind of things will have to be implemented into healthcare. This DPDP is eligible for everything, for retail to healthcare, for every aspect. So it will be a kind of change in our mindset also, and slightly infrastructural change will also be needed. True.
Thank you so much for this amazing answer. So the next question we have from our participant Prashant, how should we take care of customer data in insurance sector?
Mm, I would say that if your insurance sector, you are you need a health data for that person, obviously you should mention that we are taking your health data or your physicals, your blood data, maybe your past history, that so we can how much your premium should go and how much you already have any illness. That kind of things has to be clearly defined when the person is coming to get a first time premium or first time insurance for a health insurance or any life insurance. So main theme of the DPDP is the consent has to be there. Consent was there also previously, but it has to be more streamlined, more itemized and precise, and so that the person can understand what actually he is giving consent. So it can apply to retail also, it can apply to the insurance also. The main thing is transparency and itemization and streamlining of the thing.
Thank you so much for those interesting answer. So the next question we have from Anand, Dr. Roy, thank you for the session. And the question is, does the law provide exact definition of digital personal data?
Mm, no, no, I think it is not there, in not explicitly defined what is digital personal data. So any data that is being digitized would be a digital personal data as per my understanding. So any data that is digitized by the data fiduciaries or data processors will be a digital personal data for that data principle. So it could be a health data, it could be financial data, it could be anything. So any personal data that is being digitized should qualify as a digital personal data.
Thank you so much for those amazing answer. So next question we have, how can AI models be trained responsibly without compromising patients' privacy?
Yeah, first of all, there should be, as we are already saying, the data should be taken with proper consent that it will be used for a AI model training. And secondly, it's best to anonymize the data. And third, it should be well encrypted and kept in a secure way that the data there is no data breach. We are saying recently we saw, I think there was a data breach by Chinese hacker group using Claude. So the time is coming when hackers are using AI to hack, and that is very risky because the AI can do hack at a very faster speed than a human hacker can do. So our walls, if you are doing a health, especially using a health data to build any AI models, and health data is very securely stored, and your encryption and everything security should be in a very good space.
Thank you so much for the amazing answer. So, the next question we have, um, how should healthcare team handle sensitive patient data while using AI powered diagnosis?
Yeah, it is almost similar to my last answer, I would say. So whatever you need, so as I mentioned, only those details that are needed for that AI model training should be actually asked from the end user. We cannot say we want to access all of the patient's data because we don't need that all of the data. Maybe we need the height, weight, maybe we need the sugar value of the patient. So only ask for those part that are necessary, and also be clear to the patient or end user that we will be using this data for our AI model training or AI diagnostic tool, whatever.
Thank you so much for those answer. So, the participant, we are running out of time, so we'll take the last question. But I'll be sharing the Dr. So LinkedIn ID into the chat box. So if you have any question, you can connect with them directly. And I'll be giving you the more details on this after this question. So, the question we have, Dr. So that what does purpose limitation mean in DPDP, and how does it apply to healthcare data use?
So I will just go to that slide if possible. Yeah.
One second,
So
let
what
me
it means
stop
actually,
sharing my. Uh,
no, no, it's fine, it's fine. I can share also, no issues. So purpose limitation actually, just a second. Yeah. So it actually means that when the purpose of the data or specific purpose for which the data was collected is over, then the data should be erased. So we cannot keep the data indefinitely. So the lower limit is 1 year because that is mandated as per law, and also the upper limit is generally 3 years that I saw in the rule. So once purpose limitation is once the person's data specific purpose, say it could be health data for treatment, could be a health data for a AI model training. So once the purpose is over and purpose is served, then the erasure should be done for that personal data if the 1 year mandatory rule is over. That is what purpose limitation means.
Thank you so much for those amazing and unthoughtful answer. And I'm sure our participants have gotten most of the queries clear right now. So I have shared Dr. Utso's LinkedIn ID into the chat box, guys, for your convenience. So if you have any question or if you want to need any other consultation or guidance, you can connect with the Dr. Utso directly. I'm sure he would be happy to help you out, guys.
Yes,
So,
yes, please.
so Dr. So before moving ahead, would you like to give any final comments?
Uh, so my viewpoint is, so this is the evolving Data Protection Act. So it is the first time we are using Data Protection Act in India. It is kind of derived from GDPR, I would say. There are some similarities and dissimilarities. So we will need more detailed analysis from our legal partners, legal team also, to understand it more in depth. And as we go ahead, we will understand how it can be properly implemented, and how it changes overall workflow. But ultimately, internally, it is a law is fine, but internally we always have to be transparent to our patients, whether we are dealing with a healthcare or any other stream. So ultimately, transparency is what will bring trust back to the healthcare that we are slightly losing these days.
I'm 100% agree on that statement. So transparency is very much important, especially in today's AI era where health concerns are also on a rise. So we should have the transparency between the patients and the hospital. So thank you so much for the insightful session once again. And as I told you, participant, that I have shared Dr. So's LinkedIn ID into the chat box to connect with him on the LinkedIn. So moving ahead, just allow me a minute to share my screen. So the moment you have been all waiting for, today's AI tool challenge. So today, the challenge you have, that you have to use Gen AI to create a DPDP compliance patient consent form, transferring complex regulatory requirements into clear actionable documents. Your goal is to experience how AI can simplify compliance and build patients' trust. So I'm also sharing this challenge into the chat box so that you guys don't miss out. And while completing this challenge, please make sure when you're posting it on LinkedIn, you are tagging the GSDC as well. Because by tagging the GSDC, you guys will give us a chance to follow your journey and cheer for you on every step of the way. And we are so happy to see this many participants are actively taking part into the challenge. And while posting on LinkedIn, by tagging the GSTC, they are giving us to follow their journey, track their progress. So make sure you're also tagging the GSTC because the winner will get a $400 worth gift certification at the end of the webinar. So take an advantage of it. Take the part into the AI tool challenge and you can be one of the winner who is winning the $400 worth gift certification voucher. So before wrapping up, I just wanted to make a few announcements. So one of them is the certificate. So if you think that you are ready to get the certification into the Gen AI or Agentic AI or any other AI related the certification, so what you can do, you can go into our website and you can opt for the certification. So and we are also giving a complimentary coupon code to all of our participant who is joining us in the into the webinar, and you can use the coupon code for opting the certification and you will get a 20% off discount for every certification, whether it is a agentic AI, Gen AI, and AI tool experts and generative AI professional or generative AI foundation. You will get a 20% off for using this coupon code. Just allow me a minute. I'm sharing you the coupon code link. So if you want to grab the certificate, please do visit our website, opt for the certification, use the coupon code link for getting the 20% off. And this is one of the most exciting tool also which we have launched, and actually we are very happy to see because I got the DMs from the participant on LinkedIn and on email as well that by taking the help of utility, their how much their job hunting journey has been easier. And most of them also some of them also got the landed the job also by using the utility tool. So I would strongly recommend you that if you are on a job hunting journey, you take the advantage of the utility tool, because in today's AI era, HRs and recruiters are also one of the people who take the help from AI to making their professional journey even more easier, because they do get a lot of resume on a daily basis. So they use the AI screening system, AI ATS now, to screen the resume for sending into the next round of interview. But that is also one of the biggest reason that most candidates resumes are getting rejected even though they have the experience or skills which is required into that positions or into that job. So what you can do, you can log in into utility tool, and you can log in by LinkedIn ID and password, and it will give you a recommendation for transforming your LinkedIn profile, transforming your resume according to the job designation you are targeting, according to the industry you are targeting. It will give you a recommendation regarding your bio, regarding your experience management. Even it will give you a recommendation to set a LinkedIn backdrop and the profile photo as well. Also, we are giving a complimentary coupon code to all of our participants, and I'm sharing the coupon code link into the chat box. I've also shared the GNA certificates coupon code link into the chat box as well. So, for using this coupon code link for the utility tool, you will get 100% discount. 100% off you guys are getting. So, when everyone is taking the help of AI, why or not? Take the help of utility tool and make your job hunting journey even more easier. Stand out your resume in front of the HRs and recruiters. And as I told you at the starting of the webinar, that now we are making some changes for in our upcoming webinar as the new year is approaching. So we also want to give you guys sessions, give you guys webinar, which will make you a future ready. So in upcoming week from Monday to Friday, we are going to cover the trends which is going to come into the 2026 on the rise. So with the five topics which we are going to cover, that is language models and sentimental analysis for smart financial decision, Gen AI for fraud detection and financial crime prevention, credit score 2.0 reinventing risk assessment with Gen AI, algorithm trading 2.0 Gen AI for market strategies optimization, and explainable and ethical AI building trust and financial decision system. And this is going to be, we have also changed the timing because we do understand that right now the timing which is we are conducting our AI series, most many of the participants have reached out to us to change the timing because they were missing out, or they were not able to join because of it was very early morning or kind of that thing. So because of that, we have decided to put this AI implementation series on a new time that will be at 7:30 a.m. CST, 9:30 p.m. SGT Singapore time, 7 p.m. IST, and 8:30 a.m. EST. So you can register for this webinar from our GSDC website, and you can take the advantage of the upcoming series. And I am also going to host one more session after this, which is learning and development, in which we are unlocking the secrets behind industry leading learning and development transformation by learning from real world case studies, which you can apply in your professional life. And this is going to be after this webinar, which is at 8:30 a.m. CST, 10:30 p.m. Singapore time, 8 p.m. IST, and 9:30 a.m. EST. So I hope to see you all there as well. And we are also going to cover the topic in upcoming webinar for learning and development according to the future trends, which is going to be the future of learning analytics from data to decision, crafting effective learning journey beyond the classroom, coaching as a catalyst, empowering leaders and team through learning and development, learning experience design, the art of engagement, and reskilling the workforce in for next decade. And from 1st December to 5th December, the timing is going to be at 9:30 a.m. Central Time, 11:30 a.m. Singapore Time, 9 p.m. Indian Time, and 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And there is also going to be one more webinar after this, which is applying ISO 4201 and ISO 2701 across industries. So if you are an ISO enthusiast, I would strongly recommend you to join this webinar. And it is going to be at the same time today at 8:30 a.m. Central Time, 10:30 p.m. Singapore Time, and 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And in upcoming week from Monday to Friday, we are going to cover the trending topics of ISO for making you ready for the 2026, which is AI ethics and compliance, aligning with ISO 4201 and global regulations, all system lifecycle managing, designing, develop, deployment, and decommissioning under ISO 4201, understanding Annex A, B, and C of ISO 42001, the lead auditor's playbook, principle, competences, and ethics, audit planning made easy from pre-audit reviews to audit checklist. And also the timing is going to be changed for the ISO webinar also, which is going to be from 1st December to 5th December at 8:30 a.m. Central Time, 10:30 p.m. Singapore Time, 8 p.m. Indian Time, and 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And these are the webinar where you guys can connect with us, our LinkedIn platform, our website, our WhatsApp group. So, and we would also love to hear your feedback. So I say this in every webinar, and I am also like, we are also very much happy to see the participant who go into the reviews.io and drop the feedbacks, drop the suggestions. Your suggestions are also one of the reason that we have decided to make our December webinar according to make you to keep the cover the topic which will make you a future ready in 2026. So we would love to know what you think about the sessions. We would love to know what you think about the topic, our speaker, and if you have any feedback and suggestions, we would love to know, because your feedback and suggestions will help us to improve our learning journey and make your learning process and make your learning journey even more better, engaging, dynamic, and fun. So I have shared all of the platforms, and I have shared reviews.io link as well into the chat box, so that you guys can stay connected and you can be updated regarding our update current event, updated event, and the trends and everything. And with that, it's time to celebrate our referral champions. We have Leela Venkatesh, Saroj, Dauda. So, special thanks to all three of you to helping us simplify our initiative and reach it to the wider global audience. Keep the momentum going. You can also be part of our one of the referral championships. What you have to do, if any of your peers, colleagues, and professionals wants to join for this webinar or any other webinar, you can just refer them the registration link which is available on our GSDC website, and every referral will earn you a point. So once you will hit a $50 point, you will be able to get a free gift certification voucher. So this is also a very exciting offer which we have launched for you guys. So make sure you're taking the advantage of it. And before ending the event, I do see in the comment Aminat has asked for the registration link. So I am sharing the registration link for ISO, and so this is the registration link for ISO webinar if you would like to join after this. And I'm hoping to see you all there as well. And this is the registration link for learning and development webinar, which is going to be after this. And I am also sharing the AI implementation series registration link for the upcoming week. So I hope, Aminat, you have gotten all of the registration link, and other participant also who wants to join for this webinar, please do use this registration link, and please come into our learning webinar. And with that, it's time to come to an event. Thank you so much once again, and Dr.
Thank
Utso
you.
coming
Thank
on our
you.
platform and giving an insightful and amazing sessions. I'm hoping to see you in the future sessions as well. Thank you so much, all of the participants, for joining into our learning journey. And I'm hoping you guys will come into our learning and development ISO webinar also. And till then, keep learning, keep energizing. Do check our website for upcoming trends, upcoming topics, upcoming webinar. You guys will find a very good surprise over there. And hoping to see you all. So till then, keep learning, keep energizing. Have a good day, good night, good evening, wherever you are.